Hello, everyone, and welcome again to this weekly webinar with Mindly, where we discuss practical, result based tips to manage your emotions, manage your mental health, and speak about it without hesitation. My name is Jeev Sahoo like Yahoo. Um, Although I'm not a psychologist to start with, I was introduced to psychology and got formally qualified in it primarily because of a bereavement which happened many years ago. And life happens. And although the health authorities mentioned that I'm quite fine, I definitely needed to speak with someone. And I feel that a lot of us are in the same situation where we just need to speak with someone, and it's not necessarily as bad as it could be, but should we really wait for things to get worse? Should we not start taking care of ourselves when we can actually do something about it? And this is why we talk about mental well-being, we talk about emotional regulation, we talk about a bunch of similar topics in a workshop environment, in a one-to-one environment, and very popularly in an anonymous environment. You can see on the bottom right, we have the link to ask me a question anonymously, and I don't collect any information. And of course, I do get some spam, but it's worth it because then I collect all the questions and then answer it every Tuesday on this call. Today's call is a lot about money. A lot of questions were asked about money in the last 2-3 weeks, and I think money and mental health are extremely important. And this is such a key topic. We have financial coaches giving workshops. We have banks doing advertisements for free support that is available. But even then, I don't think they have touched upon money as intimately and personally as you can do when you are when we are talking on the topic of emotional health and mental health. The reason money is so important is it has a relationship to existence. We consider that if we don't have money, we would not be there, and that's the generic feeling. In fact, it depends on people. At the same time, majority of us are of the fact of the group that if money is not there, something might happen to our existence. And the reason I use the word existence is because another crucial emotion that relates to existence is fear, is survival. And this is where we in our workshops we talk about the lizard brain. Fear and lizard brain are quite connected. I mean, it's one of the most primitive parts of our brain. It mainly focuses on survival and recreation, and its job is to save us, to help us survive. And if money is connected to survival, then we are effectively uh, working on how can I have the oxygen for my next breath, that kind of a situation. This is where some biases come in. These biases are like glasses we discussed. These glasses effectively are showing us a different color of the world. If they are blue glasses, we see blue. Everything is blue. And if they're yellow glasses, everything is yellow. What I mean to say is that when we start looking at the world with fearful glasses, the situation, even if small, starts getting worse. And that particular thing in psychology is called catastrophization or generalization, depending on the impact. Catastrophization is effectively about uh, making something really bad. So if you see something at one place, you think the entire world is going to end, and just because of that. Generalization is a general form of catastrophization, is not as bad, but effectively it also creates that filter. Meaning, if things are really going bad for, let's say, in the newspapers, and the news has come, you feel that the entire country is going to the dogs and everything is going down and everybody will lose jobs, and it's generalization. of course, you cross a line to go to catastrophization. These biases are magnified with money. We feel, and we have interviews done to see that if you look at it objectively, situations might not be as bad as they seem, but when it comes to money, literally you feel breathless. People feel breathless, they feel panicking, they feel various physical symptoms. If they come to know that they are losing their job, they start thinking about what they are going to do. And the worst thing is when things are good, even then you can have this anxiety and panic related to money, which when I say when things are good, means something still can be done for the situation. The situation is still good enough in an objective way, but we might be catastrophizing it. Now let's draw a line. Let's say the situation is actually good, but we perceive it as bad. That's case one. And case two is the situation is really bad. In any of these cases, apart from taking emotional and psychological help or taking help from friends and family to have a chat, you need to speak with a financial advisor and see how things can be taken together in order to consolidate and get you out of that situation. However, when situation is kind of good, but you are going through panic and anxiety, we have to look at secondary emotions. What exactly is causing that? And in here, I actually thank money as a catalyst to tell us uh, what exactly is wrong with her life. If it is something to do with relationship, money will magnify it. If it is something to do with time, money will magnify it. If it is something to do with health, money will magnify it. In our simple mental health framework, SIMPLE, you must have seen in the previous calls, we look at social, individual, monetary, physical, love life, and in the middle of it is emotion. And each of them are affecting our emotions over there. So have a think, what exactly is there? In fact, I do have the emotions wheel after a couple of slides, so we'll go through that in a moment. So the purpose of dividing the topic into two parts was to have what exactly is the situation. Is it objectively bad, in which case a financial advisor can actually look at things and give you some objective information? But are we perceiving it to be bad, in which case we can actually start taking off our biases, our glasses, and that we can do by taking a step back from the situation. Take a step back. What exactly is going on? Look at it in an objective manner. Think of it as if you're helping someone else. And while you do that, think of it, is money the real problem, or am I mixing topics? Am I mixing the buckets together? It's extremely important to talk to somebody, and money is a topic that is very it's a touchy subject. You might not have many people to talk with, and even if you talk, they might have their own issues as well. But please find people who can give you support, friends who can give you support. Talk to us for on a free call where we can see what the situation is. We can signpost you to the local agencies who can help. If we can help, then we can definitely step in, and we can do that. But remember one thing: you're not alone in this situation. Given the economy, what is going on, you are not alone. Speaking of the economy, for those of us who have lived many decades and or studied many decades, uh, these kind of situations are always there. In fact, the other day I was looking at a British comedy from the 1960s, and some of the dialogues were exactly same as today, where they were talking about rising prices. So prices rise, prices fall, things happen, employment goes up and down. But what you can actually control is how you respond to it. And this is where your mental health comes in. This is where we talk about the emotions matrix and the purpose control service model that we have. And as you start doing this, start taking micro steps to be in control. Micro steps meaning effectively, what's the smallest thing you can do in the next 5 minutes, in the next half an hour, in the next one day, in the next 1 week? Can you set up an appointment with somebody who can look through your accounts? Can you set up, can you update your CV so that you can apply for new jobs? When you're applying for new jobs, are you really feeling scared about your workplace? Like I mentioned, money might be aggravating some other problems. So you might be facing something in the workplace, and because you think that you might lose your job, things might be worsening at that point. So please keep an eye on those things and start taking control. I'll give you a little framework. You can take a screenshot and you can start using it in order to be in control. Please remember the word micro is extremely important, because many of us, especially the so-called more intelligent of us, we try to solve everything before we start taking action. But the brain actually starts getting a different view once actions are taken, and there is a chemical change once you convert your thoughts into actions. So these micro steps are important. Don't wait for everything to be sorted before thinking that things will get better. Start with the first smallest thing that gives you control. What do you mean control? Control means you can do something about the situation. And this is the framework I was talking about. In fact, we use it in various scenarios, and today you can use it in the context of money. In your personal life, where do you find purpose as far as money is concerned? In your work life, where do you find a sense of purpose and micro purpose? Look for that. For example, you had a cup of coffee and you felt good. What was the purpose of it? Did you was feeling good? Was waking up was the purpose? Was being ready for your job was the purpose? I'm not talking about life's purpose. If you have found your life's purpose, congratulations. But please start looking at the smaller steps that give you purpose in all three areas. And then comes control. When you speak of control, it's not about controlling the rest of the world. It's about having a sense of what can I do about this situation. If you can't do anything about this situation, you feel helpless, and helplessness goes into panic, fear, anger, various versions like we saw in the emotions matrix. But if you can do even a small thing about this situation, you will see that you have a sense of control, and that really brings back things into normalcy. And as you do all these things, where do you see a sense of service? Many times people have asked me that question. What do you mean by service? Something where you create value in this situation. For example, you had a coffee, you spend a couple of quid, so in order to be ready for your job. And that's your sense of service, micro service, like I mentioned. It's not about finding big things of life. It's more about finding, like, what am I doing in the next 5 to 10 minutes? What am I doing in the next 1 hour? What am I doing today? Think of that and the reason we do this is, it's first of all, it creates an inventory of things that you can actually bank upon when money is troubling you. When money is troubling you, you know that, okay, I'm using this for this purpose, and if I'm going to run out of money, it's not a life and death situation. I have to take support. I have to make a plan. I have to talk to somebody. And you will have a bunch of examples in this matrix where they're your examples from your life, and they will bring you back from a state of panic to some version of control and some version of calmness where you can switch. And believe me, when you do this, your mental health improves like anything. In order to do that, you have to switch your emotion. And remember, I mentioned about bringing the emotions wheel back. Many times when we ask this question, what are you feeling? People say, I feel bad, I feel angry, I feel disgusted, or whatever. I mean, the maximum I have seen is some people have given me 15 emotions in the first instance. However, were you really feeling angry, or if you take a step further, Was it like, were you feeling let down? Were you feeling mad? Were you feeling distant? Because they might all be making you feel angry, but they're completely different situations. And think of money from that perspective. So was it fear related to money, or was it insecurity of job? Which you can do something by updating your CV, contacting the local authorities, contacting local companies, and bringing back that sense of control and service back into that. But if you remain in that fearful state, you might not understand, was it really fear, was it insecurity, was I rejected by someone, and then go a bit deeper into it. Is it that people did not give me respect? Was I feeling inadequate? Should I join some training? Is taking training a coping mechanism? Is it really needed? Am I feeling insignificant? And because we are talking about money in today's discussion, put this in the context of money. And like I mentioned, money and mental health are very well connected. At the same time, money is actually helping you understand where exactly is the problem. I mean, the problem might be with your job, with your CV, with your training, with your relationships, etc. Money is the fastest way. It is showing that something is wrong. You got to take action, otherwise you will not survive. That kind of message is coming. And we wake up and listen. And we have to start looking at all these emotions in all aspects of our life in order to understand. Remember, you're not alone. This is extremely important. Like I said, every decade there are some issues. Every time of age there are some issues, and people go through these things. And we can, in fact, these days the amount of information that is available is actually helping us a lot to find help and to then move from emotions of fear and anxiety and so forth to do something about it and find respect and connectedness and understanding and so forth. I'm not going deeper into going to the right side because you have seen this matrix in the past, but yeah, apply it to money. How can you get more engaged? How can you get more productive? And when you are starting to focus on that, automatically your trouble, your fear, your disorientedness, etc., will vanish, and you will see that things are fine. Your version of being fine, okay? Some version where you can do something about it, bring back the sense of purpose and control and service. Brilliant. So we did talk about money and mental health today, and I'm going to upload this on YouTube so that people have a record of it. And I'm just looking at some more questions and to make sure that I have answered. Yes, I have to answer one more question over here. Yeah, that particular slide is not here, but I'll use my example. The first place we feel anxiety is our body. It might be a tightening of stomach or a drying mouth or something else. I mean, faster breathing, or you just want to have a sip of water or just sit down, take rest, etc. So use the BMI method: body, mind, and intellect. So, and in fact, it all relates to the three brains that we have: the reptile brain, the monkey brain, and the human brain. No one is listening to the human part of things who is having some solution for the money problem, because the reptile is saying, I am in danger, I got to survive. So what can you do to rest your body? Maybe a sip of water, maybe taking rest, maybe sleeping, maybe having enough food. And what can you, and breathing is extremely useful to bring you down, because once you have done that, you have calmed your reptile brain. And then comes the mind side of things. You could talk with a friend, you could watch something. Don't make it a point to as an avoidance mechanism, more like a support mechanism. Okay, you could read books on money, you could read books on how to remain calm on that, and of course take advice of a financial advisor, and then see what can be done in this. And as far as emotions are concerned, talk to a counselor, talk to us if you feel that is appropriate, and we have a signposting method. If we know if you're appropriate, then we will talk. If not, we'll signpost you to someone who can actually help you. And so that hopefully that answers the question. So Rest your body first, calm your body, then calm your mind, slow down. Remember, the yellow zone is to slow down. The red zone is to stop, actually, where you actually should sit down and think for a minute what's happening, so that you can take some help accordingly. Okay, hope that answers that last question that popped up. Thank you so much, everyone who have joined, and I keep getting so many messages from people how things are helping and how they are creating their own support networks. And let's keep feeling better, feel adequate, regulate our emotion, and remember, you are not alone. If you have any situation, let's talk. Please talk to someone you know, get support, and keep taking care of your own self. Thank you so much for listening.